Hi guys. Today we're going to be talking about the book of Esther as we learn more about Purim. Esther, the shadows of providence. Esther is a book of the Old Testament and is the only book in the Old Testament that God is not talked about objectively. God is working behind the scenes. God is not mentioned in the book of Esther, but he's working behind the scenes in what is called providence. It means that he is sovereign, but behind the scenes. So the book of Esther demonstrates that God's providence works through human actions and decisions. God's providence always operates. And sometimes it's not blatant miracles or overt signs. Sometimes it's God works through people. And even in foreign lands and amidst dominating empires, God's purpose is never thwarted. So God's will always be accomplished. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. So the story of Esther is about a young Jewish girl who finds herself the queen of Persia, but no one knows that she is Jewish. She hides this until the exact moment that it would do her the most good to divulge. What is divine placement? Esther finds herself in divine placement. See, Esther could have remained silent, but she didn't. She uses wisdom and patience because they are valuable, and sometimes it's better to respond with a calculated strategy rather than an immediate action. So in the story of Esther, we find this. Esther uses her wits and her cleverness and her brains. She is as wise as a serpent and as gentle as a dove. And on the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, the edict commanded by the king was to be carried out. And on this day, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them. But now the tables are turned, and the Jews got the upper hand over those who hated them. And it was because of Esther. So the book of Esther teaches us to find assurance in the hidden, yet ever-present hand of God. God is always at work behind the scenes. Even when we do not see him, he's always working. And this is one of the morals of the story of Esther. The other is that God can reverse harm for good. So in this wonderful story of this young Jewish girl who finds herself the queen to a powerful king, she is able to save the Jewish people. And what does that mean for us as Christians? Well, she was able to save the Jewish people whom later the Messiah would come from. So it's a very important story of God's sovereign hand over the Jewish people, because they were to preserve the bloodline that Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, would come from. This has just been a little synopsis of the book of Esther. We're going to get into Purim, what that means, and Esther more tonight, but this was just a brief overview of the book of Esther and why it's so important. It is important because it shows God is sovereign, no matter what. God's hand is at work, and he will reverse harm and make it good. All right, guys. Spend Michelle. It's a little bit about Esther, and we're going to move on with Brother Jim into Purim. Thanks.